pay me no mind. But Queen Sugar, it's great. The stance they're taking with you bridging the gap with your son that I saw in season 2. I'm kind of loving that. But man, I know, man, just for a man to cheat on his wife, it's just
I mean, with in that situation, I look at the dynamic of the reality of that story. You have
it's so real.
Charlie, who is has the same father as Ralph Angel and Nova, but a different mother. She lives in a different part of the world. She goes, she's in the honor society. She meets this superstar ball player, and things are good. But with that kind of lifestyle comes a lot of
a whole lot.
temptation. And when you're trying to balance the temptation with the expectations of being perfect and the temptations of doing the little stuff, you can't get caught in that middle, and that the ebb and flow of all that can kind of pull you or push you in one direction or another. And I think that Davis West is one of those guys that just he was overwhelmed,
right?
But he just didn't do it the right way, man,
and you look like you embody the character really well.
Well, I mean, in my life I've had my share of screw ups. I was a bit of a late bloomer, and some things that I know now I should have known way beforehand. And I think Davis is one of those guys who I don't think he's purposely bad. He's just like, I'm just a wayward guy. I'm just still trying to find my way. He's like a boat on a river with no oars. You're just kind of going with the flow. You might get scuffed up a little bit here and there, hit some tides, and you can't really navigate through life. And I've been one of those, in some of those situations, I should say, where I've been brutalized socially or accused or not victimized but vilified for something that I was like, man, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I screwed up because I was a screw up, and so I know how that feels to want and need forgiveness from the people that are very close to you, and you've done something bad, and in their eyes, and you're just like, I don't know how else to make it up to you. I'm sorry. And that's what Davis West is, and he's really trying to become a better person, but he's got a lot of baggage that's been trailing, and he's got a long rope.
Yes.
He's been moving. It's like, where does this rope lead to? And it's all this baggage that he's been carrying, and now here it is. He announces he has a 13-year-old daughter. And I'm like, man, that's very heavy for a man in his position. So I couldn't imagine that amount of
weight,
public scrutiny, and weight, for
that's weight,
like that,
period.
It's heavy.
Yeah. Well, so for you guys that are tuning in, and I can't see how you wouldn't know because this man been in the business almost 20 years, but he is from Queen Sugar. He is Wes Davis, one of the stars. This is Charlie's husband. So if you don't know, please check out Queen Sugar. I probably said it again. Davis West.
It's all right.
I told you, military can't
Wes
help
Davis. Hey,
West,
call and roll.
get over here, Wes.
That's right. There it is. Mr. West is in the building.
And I know you're an amazing actor, but I'm a bit of a self-help guru, and I'm an avid reader. And so I want you to tell the audience about this book that you've written.
Yeah. The title is Who the Hell Do I Think I Am?
That's what I wanted you to say.
Who
the hell do I think I am?
Who the hell do I think I am?
Who the hell do you think you are to write a book?
Yeah, exactly. Who are you to try to do something with your life? I think that question is very valid, and some of us ask that question in a way where it's debilitating. Who am I to try to do something great? So it was one Sunday morning, as it says in the book, I woke up and I just had all this stuff that was really weighing on me really heavily, and I had all these dreams and aspirations and wants and desires and goals, and I said, I am not where I want to be, and not should, because you never know how things are going to go in life. You got a plan, but then something else. They always say you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. You think that's what's going to happen. No one would have told me.
He switched it up too.
Like 30 years ago, that I would be doing what I'm doing, because my mindset back then was far different than what it is now, even 20 years ago. But I got up and I started to think about some things, and something said, just write it down. And sentences turned to paragraphs, and those turned into pages, and then I had like 12 pages of just self-talk. That was about myself. It's self-talk that was about me. I was like, man, this is how I really feel. And as it also says in the book, there's one person that you could never lie to, and you should stop trying if you are. Yourself. You can't do it.
That's right.
It's impossible. So be honest with yourself. Everybody in the world don't got to know how you feel about stuff.
Ain't that the truth?
But as long as you're honest with yourself how you feel, then
That's
you can.
right.
It gives you an opportunity to navigate and to maneuver through those true emotions. You know, if someone gave you a map and it's the wrong map, you know, you're going to go in the wrong direction.
Right.
So your truth map, I guess I can call it that right now, is you being honest with yourself and saying, this is how I am, this is how I feel, what can I do better to make myself better? How can I think better? How can I grow? And I wanted to do that, and I'm still growing. You know,
that's good.
You know,
but you opened the door for growth when you did that, though, because you're basically owning yourself. That's good.
You have to, man. And when you finally do it, it's a relief, and then you can be more honest with others, but to be dishonest with yourself, it's so. You know, and I'm guilty of it. You know, I'm strong. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm always this. Like, man, please. You know, you realize, you know, how foolish you were with yourself by trying to be something that you weren't.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's important to, you know, that self-honesty is, it's you know, it's like the firing pistol, you know, to get you off those blocks. You
That's
know?
right. That's right. What do you hope to accomplish by someone reading your book? Because I know you said you wrote it for you. But you put it out there.
Yeah.
So what do you hope to accomplish in your readers?
Well, I wrote it for myself, but I also wrote it from myself because I think that, you know, in the human family that we all belong to, there are people who go through things like everybody else. No one's story is exactly the same as anyone else's.
That's good.
But I think that for me, if someone can take one of those chapters, you know, and go back and say, this one sentence really resonated with me. If there was only a few words that are in there that resonates with you, you know, I think that's a seed that's planted. You know, if you take a watermelon seed is smaller than the face of a dime, maybe a half or a third of the size, but it creates this immense thing that's thousands of times heavier and bigger and creates more seeds to be planted in other places. So if I can plant a seed, then someone else will cultivate what they've taken away from it, and they can have seeds to plant with other people. And
you just started.
I want to pay it forward. So
that's right.
You know, I had to be honest with myself first.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. And I think you summed everything up in chapter 12. How dare I expect others to believe in me if I don't believe in myself? You remember writing that?
Yeah, I do. And you know, it's one this elderly lady said to me, you know, the neighborhood, you know, mama that everybody know. She said, baby, you got to be careful what you say to yourself because every fiber of your being is listening to you.
That's good. That's good.
And I said, what do you mean? She was like, think about what you say to yourself.
That's right.
Because what you say, and she didn't say frequency, but I understand it now. She was like, your body knows.
That's right.
It understands everything you say.
That's right.
So if you're speaking negative things about yourself in your life, there's a resonance and a frequency that reverberates within your actual physical cells that will determine whether you go this way or this way.
That's right.
So I always tell people, focus on what you want. Only. Only. If you're about to go out to dinner, you don't think about the food that was nasty at this place or the food that you don't want. I want this food at this place, and that's where I'm going to get it. And that's where you go. You don't deviate.
Right.
So do the same thing with your thoughts, and I guarantee you that things are going to start moving in a certain direction. That's right. They will. You know, words are powerful.
That's good. That's good. Not only are you an author, you do public speaking too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I am. I'm going to start I want to go into more of that because I think that, you know, having the platform that I have now, you know, as it's growing, and I want to be able to use that to help people.
Okay.
Because I know where I was before I got to this point, and I didn't come this far just to come this far, but I know how certain people who are trying to achieve something, whether you're looking to be an actor or an author or an athlete or a doctor, sometimes things can get really hard.
Right.
You know, and the greater the achievement, if your dream is scary, then that means you're going after something great. But the greater the goal, sometimes, you know, sometimes things just work out, and other times you have to fight a little harder. I know how it feels to be lost in a dark, lonely, depressed place. And I think that a lot of the stories and the divine things that happened around my life when I started to change my thought processes and my words and my behaviors, I know how it feels to be on both sides of the fence. And so I want to use my my public speaking forum with the platform that I have to help people, because I think the one thing that people don't really pay attention to, they think about monetary help and mentorship, but the actual intangible feeling, how a person feels about him or herself, will determine which way they go. Hence, you have people who achieve great things, which is on the positive side, and then you have some who, you know, depending on their environment and how they feel, decide to give up and never, you know, achieve the thing that they want, and then it sits with you.
That's right.
You know, and I'll say this, Stacey Bryan, Coach Stacey.
Coach Stacey.
And, you know, if there's a thing that you want to do, and I'm talking to you and anybody else who can hear my voice, if there is a thing that you want to do, if it's that thing that wakes you up in the morning and the thing that's on your mind when you go to bed at night, and it's on your mind all day throughout, at some point, if you say, if I could be doing anything, I would be doing this, do your best to do that, whether you're getting paid or not, because that frequency, that energy, and that intention, and all of that stuff, that vibration is going to start to change.
I feel it when he say it.
It is a different thing, and that frequency is going to move you in a different direction. It just will. I don't know. I don't really know how else to explain that. But do not give up on your dreams, people, ever, because the one thing that you don't want to have. And certain things that, and then I got ideas that I had with movies that are out right now, and I said I thought about that 20 years ago, and I did not capitalize on it.
Right.
So
he found somebody else to give to.
It's what they say, estimated over. So go after it. You know. That's
good. That's good. That's good. Do and that's also part of giving back, which I want to ask you if you had any community give backs. But public speaking is a good way to give back because you're imparting into the lives of others. Yeah. But do you have any other community give backs that you?
I work with one of my best friends, Donald Driver. With the Donald Driver Foundation.
I thought it was my sound effects, but the sound effects man is not here tonight.
It is a sound effect. But you know, I go and I find different things when people have different things, like with the cast of Queen Sugar. Some of us, we fed the homeless for Easter during season 2. I go and I just do whatever I can. I'm not attached to one organization yet. I'm looking to find some that deal with like cancer and healthcare. I think a lot of people are being misinformed about what it takes to really be healthy. It's far less expensive than you think, and it's natural and it's healthy. So I want to do something that will help people with their humanness first, because whatever you're going to do, you want to have a healthy mind and body, and that comes with being just a healthy person. So I want to help people, because I was in the health and fitness profession for 11 years. I was a personal trainer.
Okay, well, and you just said a mouthful with that.
I just think that if we're more healthy physically and mentally, then things that we want to do will be healthy as well. Our habits will be healthy. Our decisions will be healthy, or come from a healthy place. So I think that's important, because we live in a world where things are growing a little bit more toxic, and you know, I think we need to get a little more healthy to kind of balance that out, lest we fall to the wayside. You know,
that's amazing. Amazing. I'll help you out. I got a few places I can get you in. I am actually an active 1B cervical cancer patient right now myself. So yeah, so I got a few people I can connect you with.
Got it.
Yeah, and you are definitely right. A lot of things, 80% environmental. Not 80%. I got the numbers backwards.
I would say it's even a lot of it is environmental.
Yeah, right. The majority is environmental.
Regardless of what the percentage is.
But then what we put into our bodies makes it even worse.
And what we put into our bodies and our minds, because an unhealthy mind can manifest physically in your body. You better believe it and understand it. That energy is real, y'all.
Yes, it is.
Keep your thoughts right.
Keep them right. Keep them right. Yeah. Well, thank you for all that you do and the give backs that you give. What is your motivation?
I want to help people. I want to. If I could, I would take greed and eradicate it from the world, because that is the reason for all ills. I heard
somebody say that.
Yeah, greed. People say money is the root of all evil. If there was no money, there would still be evil.